Don't feel bad if I ignore you. I ignore most people in the lobby because 50 people are trying to talk to me simultaneously. I type fast. I don't type that fast. You guys might not know this, but I don't know how to type properly. I type with 2 fingers. The problem is they taught us how to type in 3rd grade, okay? I'd already been playing computer games since I was like 5. I'd already mastered my incorrect method, so when they tried to teach me the actual way to type, I'm like, wow, this is really slow. I'm not doing that, even though it'd be way faster if I actually learned properly, but you know, old habits die hard, so whatever. So I decided that if Floof is just gonna follow me everywhere, I'm gonna troll him just a little bit, you know? So my dad has this one rule. Floof can go anywhere in the house he wants, except on my dad's bed. Now, why does he have this rule? It's anyone's guess. It probably has, you know, something to do with the amount of times Floof has pooped in my room, but I decided to test Floof's loyalty. Like, will he obey the rule even if my dad isn't home? It's time to troll this dog, okay? So anyhow, I go into my dad's room, and the dog, Floof is just following me around step for step. And I go into my dad's bed and I just like sit there, and Floof like, you know, walks to like the foot of the bed and just like pauses, just like, and I'm just like staring at him, and he's like this internal puppy conflict going on right now, and he's just like, it's like dramatic music should be playing. He's just like staring at there deep in thought, like this internal puppy conflict, and he just like stares at me for 2 full minutes. I'm not even kidding. And then it's like, and then he like really tentatively puts one foot on the bed, and I'm just like, no. And he puts the foot. He puts the paw back. That was fun. I was so mad. Okay, it was an econ. We were doing a group project. I hate group projects, by the way. If you should know one thing about me, I hate group projects, because the one constant in life I found is that if you're ever in a situation where you need to rely on other people, they will let you down every time. And this group project was no exception. You hear that, guys? I'm calling you out. And so one of the people in our group was like, wait, why is he doing the assignment? And my friends told her that I have a YouTube channel. I'm trying to downplay it, but they're calling me out. They're like, oh yeah, yes, Minecraft YouTube, what a nerd. So then she says, oh, my little brother watches Minecraft YouTubers. I'm like, oh, what does he watch? He says Skywars, and I'm like, oh snap, he could be a subscriber. So I tell her to go and ask him who he subscribed to and see if he's ever heard of me. And she comes back the next day and goes, no, he hasn't heard of you before. He really likes this dude called acidic something. And I'm like, no. And that was the biggest ego crush I've had in 2016. So yeah, we do all the filming, and then we're like, all right, someone's got to edit it. I'm like, I'll edit it, because, you know, I've edited a video before. So, you know, this is the largest assignment of the year, and it's worth a massive portion of our final grade. So, you know, I do the only reasonable thing, which is to wait until the absolute last second before starting the editing. Leave me alone, okay? Don't expect me to make good life choices. I'm Technoblade. It's not what I'm good at, but it's editing. So, you know, I start editing about 1:30 in the morning, the day the assignment's due. I'm still editing, and suddenly Sony Vegas is like, you know what? Psych! And all of my video files corrupt. And I'm just sitting here like, but why, Sony Vegas? And so I'm sitting here, it's like 2 in the morning now. I haven't found a solution. I'm like, I start the editing again. So yeah, I got a good 2 hours of sleep that day. Getting 2 hours of sleep did not help me pass the other 2 finals I had that day, but I managed. And that's the story of how Sony Vegas almost prevented me from graduating. It's a stunning tale of how you just should never rely on an editing program, ever. Oh my god. Anytime there's like a moment of silence, I'm just like, go, go, go. Anytime I see someone in like the hallway, go, go, go. It's just my saying, man. So anyhow, I've never really figured out where I got this phrase from and why I'm obsessed with it, but after like 6 years of saying it nonstop, I finally figured out what I think is the cause for me saying go, go, go all the time. And I think I've traced it back. So anyhow, after years of not knowing why I was obsessed with this phrase, I finally figured it out. And it's all traces back to like 2nd or 3rd grade or whatever, when I first learned how to read, and then I became like obsessed with it. And so it was the first book I ever read, and I read it like 50 times in a row, to the point where my teacher was so sick of me reading, like, please read something else. And the book was called Go Dog Go. It was from like 1960 or something, I don't know. First book I ever read, Go Dog Go. And it just has the phrase, it has the word go in it, like, a lot, okay? And that was like the only word used in the book was like, go, 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 go dog go. dog, go, go, or what? I don't really remember it all like clearly. And I think that was what caused this. You might be thinking to yourself, technically, that was the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Why would you ever tell me that? And okay, fair point. So they call our parents and they're acting like, oh, well, this could be an infraction. We could prevent them from graduating. And I'm sitting here like, what? You're elementary school teachers. Your diploma doesn't mean anything. It's like a participation award. Like, you did it. You passed 5th grade. You think I'm gonna, like, be held back in the future? Like, oh, well, you see, you're perfectly qualified from this job. But you don't. It says here you didn't graduate 5th grade. I mean, you graduated high school, but you really needed the 5th grade diploma. That's really what matters. I don't know why they thought their school was important. Anyhow, and they're, like, trying to get us both punished, and it just... Yeah, anyhow, nothing actually happened and I graduated. As it turns out, I didn't become a drug dealer like they predicted. I'm just now an even bigger nerd than I was back then. So, close enough. I think the best example of the baby mode classes is my science class, because we like walk in on the first day and this guy is like, alright, so what you're gonna do is, you're gonna take a ruler and measure like your height, how long your arm is, how long your nose is, and you're gonna write this stuff down and then form a spreadsheet. That's your assignment for week 1. And I'm sitting here like, what? Did I just get transported back to 4th grade? Rulers? That's what we're learning? The rulers are just the most complex scientific instruments of discovery, honestly. Very difficult to use. I don't know what they're teaching me. They're all pretty much saying the same thing. Oh man, when I started this YouTube channel, I never thought I'd get this far. Thank you guys so much. This is just so unexpected. And I'm just sitting here like, these guys are all lame. I could beat them. And that's how my channel started, because I wanted to troll everyone. But it wasn't arrogance, because I didn't think I was any good at YouTube. I knew, on the other hand, quite the contrary, I knew I was garbage at YouTube at the time. Even more garbage than I am now, actually, if you believe it or not. Because all YouTubers, when they start out, are garbage. That's just something I knew. Half of my motivation to be a big YouTuber was the fact that everyone was like, that's just not going to happen. That just doesn't, no, go do math homework. I mean, granted, do your math homework anyways. Like, half the fun is like everyone going, you're never going to get 100k subs. Then it's like, here I am. And now like, oh, you'll never get 10 million. And people probably question why I say 10 million instead of 1 million, because 1 million is basic. Every YouTuber says they're going for 1 million. No, 1 million is like the basic goal. Everyone's gotten 1 million subs by now. I'm going for 10 million. But since I can't rant long enough about 8-year-old girls to get enough AdSense, I'm going to talk about my own elementary school experience, because it was weird, man. And I wasn't even like that weird of a child. I just wanted, like any good 8-year-old child, to just go home and play Pokemon. That's all I wanted to do. But the school administration, for some reason, they thought I was like the biggest thug ever. Like I was the next Al Capone, just in training, because they would not stop like sending me to the principal's office. I don't know why. I wouldn't even like do bad things. Like one time, me and my friend, we just wanted to play like, it wasn't Club Penguin, but it was like basically Club Penguin. Like it was like, we wanted to go to some website for little children's games, because we were like, you know, I think we were 9 actually, but whatever. So anyhow, we wanted to go on this website, but it was blocked by the school Wi-Fi. And so we're like, oh, hey, well, the school Wi-Fi, it specifically said, if you think this site should gain access, go fill out this form. And so we being able to read, are like, well, it says to fill out this form, so we did. And then like, maybe 2 weeks later, both of us get dragged out of class, and they're just like, okay, we got like a really like panicky email from like the technicians or whatever. They got this strange message, and they don't know what's going on. Everything's on fire now. Do you mind? So anyhow, they drag us into the office, and they're just like, the technicians, they got this. This is terrible. And they show us the piece of paper, like printed it out like it's like a felony or something. And the paper literally reads like, please enable this website. Pretty please with the cherry on top. And they've tracked it down. They've tracked us down as hardened criminals. They figured out what computer the thing came from and like which students were using it at the time. And it's just like, but who cares? And then they banned us from the computers for like a month. A lot of people seem to like when I talked about my elementary school stories, so I'm going to talk about my middle school adventures in this episode. I'm rolling in, it's 6th grade. The school admins want to put me in a regular math class because all the advanced math classes are full. Now, I'd never been in an advanced class before, so I didn't really care. I didn't see what the big deal was. My parents Apparently my parents were having like a samurai battle with the school officials over this, but I didn't really see what the big deal was. So I roll in, it's a regular math class. What's the big deal? I've always been regular math. So they hand us a worksheet. We're gonna be working in a group project. I look at the worksheet and there's a lot of words on the worksheet, but what it boils down to, the big question that you have to work on at the end is, what's 7 times 8? And I just like, it's 56, and the teacher's like, wow, now consult it with your group. I'm like, I turned to my group, I'm like, it's 56. What? So, what, were we supposed to do this for another 40 minutes? What was your plan? And then they put me in an advanced math. They just threw me in with the 7th graders, man. It was... One time I got in trouble because for some reason, I mean, I was a little kid. Looking back on it, this sounds pretty weird out of context, but I guess I'd been like tickling my friend at lunch. Again, that sounds pretty weird now that I'm a 17-year-old, but you know, I was what, like 8, 9 back then, so I guess it was only somewhat weird. Leave me alone. But anyhow, the school phones my parents and tells them that I like beat up this kid, like I punched him, everything. They're acting like I beat him within like an inch of his life, and my parents, like, they freak out because they didn't realize the school was dumb. This is when they first learned, and they pull me aside like, dude, you're like beating up kids, how can you do this? I'm like, I didn't. I literally just tickled him. Why is everyone panicking? They're like, really? I'm like, yeah. And so they go and they ask the school, and the school's like, oh, yeah, but I mean, it's still not. And they're sitting here like, why did you say he punched it? Why couldn't you just... And that's the last time they... That's the last time they took the school's word for things, man. It was just so satisfying to have my parents on my side after that, man. It's like whenever the school was just like, he literally burned down the entire school. Or it's like, so what did he really do? Oh, well, he said crap. Yeah, I remember there was a presentation we were supposed to give, and everyone got like a section of the textbook, and my section of the textbook was like the least informative thing ever. So I gave like a 10-second presentation. I just like walked up there, and I told them all the information that was in my section. I said, okay, so here's how you conjugate this verb. If it ends with like an IR, you do this. But if it ends with ER, you do this. Anyhow, thank you. So I went back to my seat. I don't think my teacher found that funny. I got a C. I mean, I gave all of the information, man, and I gave it in a concise manner that my classmates could easily understand. I had a nice PowerPoint and everything. It was a full slide. What did you want me to do? There was only that tiny amount of information in there. I don't know. Honestly, though, the weirdest thing that's happened to me this year, and this year's been really short so far, so I'm surprised something that caught me this far off guard has happened. We were like supposed to read these essays for English, and one of these essays was just like detailing this the effect of poverty and how it was a big problem in their kingdom or whatever. And I'm just like, all right. And he's gonna propose a solution. I can tell he's building up to what he thinks is gonna solve it. And then halfway through the essay, he just goes, and I know for a fact 1-year-olds are delicious. And I go, what? And then the rest of the essay is justifying human cannibalism. What? I've never been so caught off guard. Game of Thrones, M. Night Shyamalan, nothing came close to how surprised I was. Apparently it was a work of satire, which makes a lot of sense, but like, I was so caught off guard. I thought he was gonna like suggest like the Department of Education be founded or something. I thought there was gonna be like some legitimate policy here, and he's like, we should eat children. That was the thesis. What? Welcome, guys, to an episode of Skywars. We're gonna have to record this one as quickly as possible because my mom just told me that my little sisters are gonna have their friends over today, and you have to understand is that no recordings are gonna be able to be made when there are like 3 to 5 8-year-old girls in the same house. I'm gonna like barricade myself in my room and hope they spare my life. But you have to understand is that like 8-year-old girls, it doesn't sound like this. It sounds like I'm just making one of those exaggerated jokes that I love to make. But 8-year-old girls are legitimately the most savage bullies on the planet because they know that they don't go for physical wounds. They go for psychological wounds. Like, they will go straight for your self-esteem, your confidence. They'll go straight for it, man. And they talk mad trash because they know they're invincible. I'm gonna barricade myself in my room. There's only There's 2 ways to get into my room, and only one of the doors is a lock, so I'm gonna like actually barricade myself. I started the barricade. I have a few stacks of books over there, but I'm gonna put like some chairs, gonna put some more stacks of things. I don't know. Leave a like, please. I need it to fuel my ego and repair. I need to fortify my ego before the 8-year-old girls come and rip it apart, okay? Because they're going to. They will mock me relentlessly. Even if I keep them out of the room, they'll just stand outside it laughing at me. So please leave a like, fortify my ego. California been getting a crazy amount of water recently, which is I mean I'm glad. I think the drought is pretty much over, because now we're getting hit by things like, you know, hurricanes and floods. But I just think California, we're just not good at water, okay? Or too much or too little. So anyhow, to handle this, I had to go to desperate measures. I had to get an umbrella. I know, tragic. This is a tale of bravery and heroism. Please subscribe for more good YouTube content. But anyhow, the problem is the only umbrella we had was my 8-year-old sister's, and it's I've seen manlier umbrellas before, you know. This one, how should I describe it? It's over there on my desk, actually. It's like rainbow colored and covered in smiley faces, peace signs, and little hearts. So yeah, it just screams masculinity. It gets all the ladies, trust me.
Yeah, so we're gonna need a lot of cobblestone. How are you though, big man? How have you been?
I'm pretty good.
Since we last spoke. What did you get up to?
Pretty much nothing.
Really? Surely you've done something, right?
You think?
What did you do?
I've achieved nothing of value. What are you?
It's just it's just you said that. You said it very passionately for how low of an achievement it was.
Okay.
Not even just proudly. Hey, you know what? Hey, surely you've done
reality.
Surely you've done something.
I've just been reading and sleeping, man.
We live sad lives, you and I. Truly. This would be so much more morbid without the upbeat Animal Crossing music. I really hate to know what this is like on your POV.
So there I am at the optometrist, or whatever they're called, and they're showing me they're showing me different lenses to see which one is the best, and they show me one. I'm like, oh wow, this lens is amazing. They show me another one, and it's like, this is the worst lens. This is so bad, and they're like, this is the one you currently have, and I'm like, oh, well, this is awkward. So anyhow, there we are. We're playing at lunch one day with a frisbee, and the bell rings. We got to go back to class, but one of my friends, Perry, tries to fight me for the frisbee. And I mean, it's a totally joke fight. We basically both grab onto the frisbee and pull, and me being, 3 times as tall as him, I win, and he falls over, doesn't get injured at all, literally instantly jumps up laughing, and we both run back to class with the rest of our friends, and we get like 5 steps before we hear some voice call out across the field, "Hey!" I don't know how to do an angry hey. I've never been able to replicate it, but it was like, "Hey!" And so it's Mrs. A, and she drags us both, and all our friends are looking at us like, what's going on? So she drags us both to the principal's office, and we're just like, why? And we get to the principal's office, and we're just like, do you guys know why we're here? And we're like, no. No one told us. And they're like, and so she just straight up, without even like blinking, she just like looks the principal dead. Okay, I'm gonna have to kill these people before I learn how to speak English again. So anyhow, she just looks the principal dead in the eye and goes, like, she says she watched me pick up Perry and like throw him against the ground like an angry Hulk. Like, I don't know why she thought this was a believable story, and the principal's just like, is this true? And it's like me and Perry are sitting here like, no. But the stupidest thing is that they tried, not only were they trying to punish me, they were trying to punish Perry just as much. And I'm sitting here like, that doesn't, if you thought I was bullying him, why would you punish him? How does that make sense? And anyhow, so they call our parents, and they're acting like, oh, well, this could be an infraction. We could prevent them from graduating. And I'm sitting here like, what? You're elementary school teachers. Your diploma doesn't mean anything. It's like a participation award. Like, you did it. You passed 5th grade. You think I'm gonna, like, be held back in the future? Like, oh, well, you see, you're perfectly qualified from this job. But you don't. It says here you didn't graduate 5th grade. I mean, you graduated high school, but you really needed the 5th grade diploma. That's really what matters. I don't know why they thought their school was important. Anyhow, and they're like trying to get us both punished, and it just, yeah. Anyhow, nothing actually happened, and I graduated. As it turns out, I didn't become a drug dealer like they predicted. I'm just now an even bigger nerd than I was back then. So, close enough. There's some other toddler there. We're both jerping around, but we had the same toy. It looked the same, and so some conflict happens because of this. And so, you know, 3-year-old 1v1. But anyways, this French guy sees me messing with his kid, and so he's like, clearly, as an adult, I should intervene and attack this small child. So he walks over and pushes me over. It's not like he was gonna kill me or anything, but, like, you know, I was 3, so the slightest amount of adult intervention, and I just get GG10 easy comboed montage. So, yeah, my parents, being very hardcore, called the police, and things happened. I don't think things actually happened, though. I think the police just came and were like, why? And he was like, cause he messed with it, and the police were like, why? I don't think the police actually did anything. They just came over here and like judged him, like, why are you pushing a baby? Well, that was my first experience with French culture. You know, you have to start it off with a high note. I like to think that was foreshadowing.